morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, that can only mean one thing. Oh, yeah. It's Football Friday in the Doghouse. Because it's always Football Friday in the Doghouse. Football Friday means football music throughout the show. Beginning with this, the single greatest football song ever recorded in the history of football. The original Monday Night Football thing. Check out this guitar. Gotta be George Benson, doesn't it? Ricky Betts. Ricky Medlock. Oh, that gets your juices flowing, doesn't it? What a way to kick off the lunch hour. We got a lot of ground to cover in this SEC Media Days Eve show. And the first hour of the show is wide open. All right. So you can get in with your thoughts. If you want to contribute, if you know what you want to talk about, you can go ahead and start dialing us up right now at 256-576-4977. Now, personally, I'd love your feedback on the coverage from Atlanta. We already heard from Wolverine Dan yesterday. He wanted to know exactly when the coverage would be on the station he listens to the show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone in Huntsville. And he said he needed to know so that he could take the week off of listening to the show. He's a Big Ten guy. He's Wolverine Dan. You know what I mean? He's a Big Ten guy. Doesn't want to know anything about that. The Big Ten media, I don't know when that is. It's like a luncheon or something. You know, they like get together, go to the Dairy Queen for a couple hours. I don't know. It just means more in the SEC. All right. So, you know, we've got a lot. And I really would like your feedback from our coverage from Atlanta and how you feel about it. We're going to try and bring you as much live coverage of the coaches as possible throughout the day. And the commissioner as well, and all the interviews that we can gather. It's football overload for sure. I hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Now, those of you listening in Huntsville will get a full 12 hours a day from Media Days from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those listening in Winchester will get 6 hours, maybe 7 hours a day with an hour of the Blitz, unless you want to take both hours. Then you get me for a couple of hours. Then you get Feinbaum for 3 or 4 hours. And those of you listening in WNSR in Nashville will get 4 hours. You get 2 from me. You'll get 2 from Chuck Oliver. And Chuck, it'll be 4 to 6. Now, we welcome those of you that are watching on the X and the Facebook and on the YouTube. You can check that out if you haven't yet. Snag the video at my X feed at Thom Abraham Show. Welcome those of you listening on apps as well, and those listening in Nashville on WNSR and in Winchester on WCDT and in Huntsville on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, our flagship station. 6 signals in all carrying the show, but 1 phone number. It's the same for everybody. 256-576-4977. That gets you into the show. The text window is open. 7329-TA-SHOW. 732-982-7469. For those of you that are Alpha Challenge, that's a great way to communicate with us. Coming up at the top of the one, the legend himself, the author of the best college football preview magazine on the planet, Phil Steele, will join us. I don't get any other I don't get any of the ones that have, sidelines and who's got the best stadium lights and, who has the best barbecue 3 blocks from the stadium. I don't get those big glossy pictures and everything. I get Phil Steele. That's all I get. Phil Steele. I used to get the magazine exclusively. Then I got the digital, and I kind of dug the digital. I'd like to get the magazine and the digital. I'm a page turner. I love having the magazine in my hand. It's the same thing like with Bassmaster magazine. Bassmaster magazine is one of the few magazines that's still printed. Bassmaster magazine, they got all the stuff on Bassmaster.com. I'm like, no, I need that magazine in my hand. That's something I need in my hand. Sports Illustrated, back in the day, you used to get Sport Magazine and all those kind of things. Well, that stuff's all dated. That's dated stuff. So I get that. But Phil, we'll talk to him. We'll take a deep dive into Phil's SEC rankings this year. We'll talk about the magazine and the digital version as well. And look, for those of you that are interested in the minutia of college football from a handicapping standpoint, okay, this is the only guide you need. All right, this is the one that you need. It goes back 5 years worth of history, gives you all kinds of ratings on the different units. And by having the digital, it is updated throughout the year. Where obviously the hard copy is printed in June, and then as things change, you got basically what you got. Whereas when you get the digital, then all of a sudden this guy got beat out at quarterback or whatever, or somebody got hurt, things change, and you get updated information there. Crazy night in New York last night as Brian Wu, who was an all-star, Mariners pitcher, took a no-hitter into the 8th inning against the Yankees and was leading 5-0 in the 8th when the Yanks finally broke through with a couple of singles and scored a run. And Brian Wu was pulled from the game. He was at an all-time high 101 pitches. Oh, not 101 pitches. Dudes used to go 130, 140 like it was nothing. Wu was a witch last night. But they pulled him at 101 pitches because, God forbid his arm's going to fall off. They got him out of there. Then Giancarlo Stanton hit a 2-run pinch hit home run, which is the first of his career pinch hit home run. Of course, how often is Giancarlo Stanton pinch hitting? Now it's 5-3. You go to the 9th, the Mariners bring in their closer, Andres Munoz, who's got an ERA of 1.06. 1.06. Hadn't given up anything. A run. He had blown 5 saves, but he hadn't given up a run in weeks. So he comes in. The Yankees get a couple of knocks, and then they pick up on Munoz tipping his pitches. Tipping his pitches. No, they didn't electronically, get into the pitch com or anything like that. They just old school tipping his pitches. The guy on second for the Yanks could see what he was doing. And the man on second starts waving their arms in a circle like this. They go like this right before the pitch. I'm doing that for the people watching the video version. They'd wave their arms in a big circle if it was a changeup. If they didn't, it was a fastball. I mean, it was so obvious what they were doing. Watching it on TV, the first time I saw it, I thought, well, what happened? Why did he wave his arm? Then the second time, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're giving signals to the batter as to what's coming. And the Yanks scored 2 more runs to tie the game. I mean, they were on the brink of being done. Austin Wells was a 224 hitter. Comes up with a big knock with 2 outs to knock in 2 runs. Guys are waving their arm. Why don't you yell, it's a changeup? Some of the Mariners were not happy with it. Some of them understood exactly what was going on. That was very obvious. The Yanks scored 2 runs, and then they win it in the 10th inning on a shallow sac fly from Aaron Judge and an amazing slide from Anthony Volpe. And the only reason Anthony Volpe was on base is because of a stupid rule. Because Anthony Volpe hasn't been on base in like a month. dude went from hitting 248, 249 to he's hitting like 210 now. I mean, the dude, he can't get on base to save his life. But the Manfred man was on second base to start the 10th inning. After Devin Williams shut down the Mariners in the top of the 10, they put the dude on second base at the bottom of the 10. Couldn't bunt him over because, nobody knows how to bunt anymore, apparently. But he ends up getting moved over, a couple of walks, shallow pop fly from Aaron Judge. Gets credit for the winning RBI, but let's be honest. I mean, it's not Anthony Volpe. There's no, and this slide was amazing. Absolutely amazing slide. Now, the whole signaling the pitches that were being tipped off, that's totally legal. It's totally legal. You can't use any electronic means. But the old, steal the signal, steal the sign, steal the pitcher was, you're at second base and you see the way he's holding the ball and he's showing it to you. You're going to signal to the batter. Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh rightly pointed out that it's up to the pitcher and the team to not be tipping the pitches. It's on them. I was very disappointed in the broadcast crew of Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill, who are outstanding. Paul O'Neill is for Yankee fans is going down the Phil Rizzuto path. I mean, he is so beloved. It's unbelievable. He's so good. Unfortunately, he only does about 70 games a year, but he's so good. But they didn't say a word about it. I knew what was going on in the second pitch, and they were dead silent. Why couldn't they say the Yankees are tipping, or the pitcher is tipping the pitch? Munoz is tipping his pitches. You can see what they're doing right here. They're signaling to the batter. Why didn't they say something? It's legal. No, they were mum, like they didn't know what was going on. Paul O'Neill doesn't know what's going on. Michael Kay doesn't know what's going on. Been watching baseball for 40 years. On another note, baseball-wise, I think we're headed for trouble in baseball next year as Rob Manfred is basically signaling a war with the leadership of the MLBPA. He said at a investors day for the Braves, Braves are publicly traded. You could buy a share of the Braves like the Green Bay Packers. He said the strategy is to get directly to the players. I don't think the leadership of this union is anxious to lead the way to change. So we need to energize the workforce in order to get them familiar with or supportive of the idea of maybe changing the system that could be good for everybody, close quote. Let me tell you something. Them's fighting words. There's 1 year left on the CBA, 2026. All right, we're headed for another work stoppage in baseball. But them's fighting words. And in another life, I used to deal with unions all the time in the family business. And if I had said to the Teamsters union, yeah, we're gonna deal directly with the drivers. We're gonna cut Angelo Mezzaraca, head of the union. We're gonna cut him out because I don't think he's interested in doing what's best. We're gonna talk directly to the drivers. If I'd have said that, somebody else would be doing this talk show right now. I'm just saying. But that's fighting words. If you're here a year before the deal is up, you're saying we're going to take it to the players because basically the leadership is a bunch of idiots. That's what he said. This year, the Dodgers luxury tax payroll, the Dodgers payroll that they pay a luxury tax on because there's no salary cap, but they have to pay a luxury tax if you're over a certain amount. $225 million or so. The Dodgers' current salary is $406 million. $406 million, which is a league record, and it's quadruple the Marlins at $85 million. The Marlins salary is $85 million. The Dodgers salary is $406 million. Come on. Now, we have not seen a repeat champion in baseball in this century. It was that Yankee dynasty when they three-peated at the end of the 90s is the last repeats we've seen. But outside of the Royals in 2015, every single World Series winner in the last 25 years has come from a top 10 TV market because they don't share in their local money. And so the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Cubs, they get a lot more money from local TV than do the Royals and the Pirates and, Milwaukee. But those teams, keep that money, the lion's share of that money. Whereas in the NFL and all other major sports have salary caps. And in those sports, all the money, all the TV money goes into a hopper and they split it equally. Not in baseball. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the Platters That Matter, the Stacks of Wax, answering phones, living large and in charge on a Friday, thinking about a huge wrestling weekend. It's Jumpin' Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
And show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that body.
Thom. Hey, Thom.
Big wrestling weekend, Joe, in Nashville tonight. Are you running up to Nashville for that show tonight?
No, I'm not. SmackDown is in Nashville tonight before everybody heads to Atlanta tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the SmackDown's
is it
live
tomorrow
there
in Atlanta or is it Sunday in Atlanta? I
Both.
thought it was so what is this? This isn't like the SummerSlam or anything like that.
No,
right?
it's got they have a Saturday night main event is happening tomorrow night in Atlanta, and then on Sunday night they have a women's only thing called a women's revolution or evolution that they're going to be doing. Same arena, it's going to be the same thing. So WWE,
but it's all women.
It's their entire female roster. So they're going to be doing that. This is the second time they've ever done this. The first time I want to say was probably 4 or 5 years ago, as a matter of fact, because Ronda Rousey was a part of it, just kind of putting that, when she was in WWE.
Yeah.
And so that was the last time they did this. And so they're doing that special one.
Does that
tonight,
work?
or Sunday? Oh, the whole thing will be sold out.
So now where is it? Is it the arena where the Hawks play, or is it?
I believe both are at State Farm Arena. Yeah,
so it's not a stadium show. It's
it'll be
arena
at State
show.
Farm, and as that's happening at State Farm, Beyonce's performing right behind them at Mercedes-Benz.
So all chicks card will that get a big number on TV? Will that be on TV live too? No?
I believe that'll be part of the Peacock is what it'll be on. So if you get the Peacock app, that's how you're going to be able to watch it. That's how they show all their what they don't even call them pay-per-views anymore. They call them like PLEs, premium live events.
It would seem to be like, I don't know. I mean, would you want to go to an all chick show? Just like one right after another, a women's wrestling?
Yeah, because this isn't 1998 where they're just sitting out there showcasing their chest the entire time. Like these are extremely athletic women. Like they're fantastic. Some of them are way better even than the men.
But do you want to watch them for 2 hours? That's the question. You know what I mean? You would watch it.
Absolutely.
So
Again,
when does Goldberg win the championship? That's tomorrow night?
Never again, ever.
He's going to win.
It's his last match.
By the way, yeah, no, you know what he has said now, according to Clay Turner. I met Clay Turner this morning. Clay Turner is one of the producers at ESPN Winchester, and I was going by there. I had to drop the Bassmaster Radio ZXL 19 off at Phoenix Boats, and for service. And on the way back, I drove right by the radio station, so I stuck my head in there, and I met Clay Turner, who was one of the producers there, and he's a big wrestling head like you are. Not like you are, because you do shows and everything else about it, but he's into it big time. But he said now that Goldberg is teasing that if he wins, that he will wrestle again. So are you hearing any of that? That if he wins, he needs to wrestle like, I don't know, whoever would be the next guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would need to wrestle again, but the issue is if you go if you're looking at it from not as it's Goldberg, there's no benefit to him winning It doesn't benefit WWE.
Except for he's the greatest wrestler in the history of wrestling.
There's no benefit to him winning whatsoever. Like he's not going to bring in a number. He's not doing it. There's a reason he's doing it in Atlanta, is because it's his hometown.
What do you mean he's not going to bring in a number? Are you kidding me? Every time Goldberg's on there on the TV, it breaks every record of viewership. People go nuts. It's Goldberg.
I mean, yes, 65 plus probably. But
if it were real and not staged, he'd beat all these guys. He'd be winning all the time, except for Roman Reigns, maybe.
No, I think Brock Lesnar would probably put him in an ICU. But
Lesnar's slow and
in the UFC heavyweight champion. But that's what I'm saying is there's nothing in the future with this. It doesn't benefit him to win this match over the person he's going up against, because that person is the younger and the not hotter name, but he is a person that this is where you pass the torch off to somebody.
Can't have him lose match, can you?
Everybody loses their last match.
Can you have him go out a loser?
Yeah. Sting actually winning his last match was actually surprising. Yeah, everybody loses their last match. It is a tradition in professional wrestling. It is their passing of the torch to the younger generation. You face somebody that is an up-and-comer name, and you pass the torch to them. That is the reason why.
Well, he's certainly not going to get pinned in the middle of the ring. Tell you that, nobody's going on Goldberg. That's not happening. If he loses, it's going to be because some catastrophic thing happened, like the you know what I mean? Like he something happened, bad injury or something. It's going to happen. It's got to be a disqualification, or he had the guy. He'll have the guy pinned. Who's he wrestling? Isn't it? He's some young stud that's the champion.
Yeah, Gunther's the heavyweight champion.
Who just became the champion.
Yeah, he won the title back. So
which of what? I mean, what is he to have? Is he like the heavyweight champ? Because now they got all these different champions.
He is the world heavyweight champion, and that is the biggest title on Monday Night Raw.
But what about overall? Is it? I mean, he considered the world champion, or is there another champion?
No. There are two champions. There are two champions that are on the same line, and you have a wrestling. You have a champion on SmackDown, and you have a champion on Raw. And those two are equal to each other.
But isn't that's counterintuitive to the word champion? How can you have two champions? There's no such thing as a co-champion or two champions.
I mean, they don't share the
is a
belt.
Singular world. Well, it's one word, champion. Why don't those two guys wrestle each other? Gunther and who's the other one?
Let's see. It was Cody
Roman
Rhodes.
Reigns?
No, it wasn't Roman Reigns.
Oh.
But no, that's why I'm trying to remember, because now I'm going, wow, it's really sad that I cannot think of who it is on SmackDown. But on Raw, it's Gunther.
I thought you were the guy.
No, because what I'm doing is
why don't you know SmackDown?
Because I'm actually like back. I'm rewatching everything from the beginning of the year, and at the moment where I'm at, Cody Rhodes is the champion. So I'm like, well, it's not Cody because he lost it at WrestleMania. So that's where I'm trying to sit here and think about it myself. But Gunther is the highest champion on Raw, and SmackDown has their own champion. And so they may fight every once in a while.
So Goldberg will spear to Gunther at some point in time. He will have him, but when he spears him, he's gonna ram him into the referee. The referee is gonna get knocked out, go falling out of the ring.
God,
Goldberg is gonna have John Cena's the champ?
John Cena's the champ. That's how I forgot it. Well, I can't see him, so that's the reason I can't. Right. Yeah.
So you can't see the guy. So Goldberg knocks out the referee and the Gunther. All right, he's got Gunther down, and he's got him down for be like an 8 count. You know what I mean? I mean, he's just like totally got him pinned, but there's nobody there to call it. And so then Goldberg's going to get up. He's going to turn around and he's going to put his arms out to like the Triple H or whoever's running the show, Pat McAfee or something. I don't know. He's going to put his arms out like, what the heck happened here? Why did I just tap this guy? And then he's going to get hit over the head with a chair. And then somebody else is going to jump in with stripes on, like they're the referee, even because the referee's knocked out. And then that guy's going to jump in there and they're going to count Goldberg out. That's what's going to happen. There, I just told you the show. I should write these shows. I should be the showrunner. What do they call the guy that writes the show?
He's the showrunner? The head writer.
Head writer?
Yeah.
I should be the head writer. That's the show right there. I just gave you the show.
So Goldberg has been pinned about 4 different times in his last 6 matches.
Yeah, but not really. He's just letting them do that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
probably the referee got knocked out.
That's it.
Referee might have got knocked out every time.
That's it.
Yeah, it might have been that. All right, we're going to bring in here. When we come back, phone lines are open. I got some stuff. I got stuff on the desk here that I want to get through. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. We'll come back with more Thom Abraham Show right after this. You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit lifetimeepoxyfloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying, Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
John Abraham here for the parts department at Bobcat of Huntsville. Not only do these guys carry genuine OEM Bobcat parts, they also have a full line of Marshalltown concrete supplies. On top of that, they have a wide selection of arborist tools and supplies on hand for you tree guys. Bobcat of Huntsville also has a full service department, and don't forget the sales and rental guys too. Come on down and visit the all-new Bobcat of Huntsville location in Madison on Highway 20 next to the Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hey, welcome back. Tom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. We'll get to those here in just a moment. Joe, I do want to get your opinion on a serious thing because you, like me, are a seam head. Any issue at all with the man on second passing along signals to the batter if the pitcher is tipping his pitches?
Oh, heavens no. No, we love that stuff. I can't tell you how many games that we found that happen. Again, that's why when everybody got upset about sign stealing, I'm like, well, then be better at hiding your pitches. If I can see the signal from the catcher and I know, over time we have figured out what each signal means, or I can literally see the pitcher changing the grip in his glove before he pitches it. That's on you. Like I can't help it. Like we used to have, different signals that would let them know. Like we weren't like waving our arms and all that sort of stuff. The way that
usually
that
you touch the helmet, right? I mean,
sometimes it would be
you touch a helmet on one side or the other. But see, back then, up until a couple of years ago, you were reading the catcher more often than the pitcher. You'd read and try and steal the signs. But now with PitchCom, you can't do that. They were doing what you said there. They were looking in Munoz's glove. He was the way you could see his grip.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell what his grip was. That's why Cal Raleigh said, look, that's up to the pitcher to hide his pitches, not me. I can't do anything. We're talking on this com thing here, the pitch guy.
And what should have happened is the very first moment that, because again, with the way that the arms were flailing and everything at second base, if you're the manager for the Mariners, you call timeout and you go in there and you go, look, something's going on. Like somebody is seeing something. Like let's go ahead and fix this while we have this lead. You go ahead and change that. I mean, what we would do is, if we would say something like, we would talk to the team and be like, all right, nobody say the player's number or the name of the player when they're up. Like nobody say that. You can say, come on, you can say, let's go. And it'll be up to the person that's standing on second base. If they say the number, then it's going to be a fastball. If they say that it's the name, then it's going to be a breaking ball, like something like that. Sit back, be ready. That sort of thing is what we would do. And it would be very easy to figure out what was going on that way. And that's the reason why we did it. The whole team was communicating with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I think that is something that that's part of the game. It was so obvious what they were doing. I mean, did you see the video? They were flailing their arms. I was watching it live and it was like, oh my gosh. They're tipping a pitch, and it, to me, you say the manager, Cal Raleigh, the catcher. I mean, come out, right? I mean, like after the first time they do it, I mean, he had to see it. It was so obvious what they were doing over and over again. Then after you see it once, or maybe the second time, maybe the first time the guy was like losing his balance. The second time they do it, okay, it's obvious, and then you go out to the pitcher and you say, hey, close that glove up a little bit.
Well, especially Cal Raleigh. Like, again, I know how great of a season he's having, but this is also on him because if anybody is supposed to be looking at every single thing the man on second base is doing, just in case he needs to let the pitcher know about throwing back, big leads, all those sort of things, he should have picked up on this too. And so this was even on him as well. It's like, that's the reason why you're in this position, because even if the manager's going over some sort of signs or plans for the next batter, because they already know what they're doing with this one, your catcher is supposed to be in the situation noticing everything that's happening on the bases.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, let's get to the lines. LSU Lynch is up first. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Look here, Mr. Dan. We don't care about you. This SEC time. You hear me? So won't you take your mullet hair having butt down to Cherokee Bridge. Go tee off on Ladies' Day, son. You hear me? Then I will buy you the buffet all you can suck. You hear me? And leave the tip. Now, number 2. I'm fired up on football. I'm fired up, and I just, text the show, whatever. And we always discuss things 100 million times during the year to kill the time. You hear me?
Yeah.
So, you're, 10, 19 years older I am, so I'm 55. Anyway, those of you listening, and whatever your age is, who is the best college football quarterback that you have ever seen? Ever seen? Doesn't matter what team it is. You can show your favorite. I think it's a great question. Thank you for taking my phone call. Go LSU, Mystic Danny.
That's a brutal question. It's a really, really tough question. I'll start with going back a little bit. I'll start with Dan Marino. If you saw Dan Marino play at Pitt, I mean, it was just crazy. The only reason Dan Marino doesn't get picked way higher than he got picked. There were rumors about his, extracurricular usage of things. But outside of that, I mean, Dan Marino was just amazing. His snap throw. Joe Burrow, as a pure quarterback, he had great talent around him, though. But as a pure quarterback, I'd say Joe Burrow. But then when you look at the combination of things that guys did, then you got to look at Cam Newton for 1 year. Cam Newton in 2010 was unreal. It just outstanding. So Cam Newton 2010 is on the list. Vince Young, he became a punchline in the NFL because he didn't pan out after his, rookie of the year with the Titans, and that was, he basically won that on 2 broken plays, one against Houston and one against the Giants. They were broken plays that he made in it, but you don't make a living on broken plays. Vince Young, though, in college, I mean, do you guys remember Vince Young at Texas? Vince Young in, 2005 when he won the national championship against USC? I mean, Vince Young, you have to go back and think about that. And then the other guy that I have to have on this list, I don't think you can just say one. I mean, there's just so many like that are great. And I know I'm leaving other guys off, but for sheer, I will win. I am going to rip your heart out. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to win. And I promise that this will never happen again. Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow and his 50 touchdowns in, 2007, something like that? I mean, Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow may be the best college football player I ever saw with my eyes. Now, the Big Dog era starts in 1960. In my eyes, Tim Tebow may be the best football player I ever saw. Nobody threw a sweeter pass than Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa on a slant route. Nobody threw a better slant on RPO than Tua. I mean, part of it is because he was left-handed and it looked different, but that was amazing. Tebow, Cam Newton, Joe Burrow. I'll take you one back to the 80s in Dan Marino. Who am I leaving off, Joe? Who would you have to put in this discussion? Vince Young. I mean, those guys all were absolutely amazing in college. What college quarterback would I be missing in your lifetime?
Well,
which is less than my lifetime.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Is I was thinking about who I've seen in person, and I couldn't remember if he said college or anything, because more of
just
mine
college.
If I say if it's just college, then I would probably go, for me it's Cam, because that's the only one that that's the biggest one that I've seen in person college wise. But then again, recently, I've been to numerous Kansas City games, so I mean Patrick Mahomes is a different level than anybody else. But he wasn't that way at Texas Tech.
Well, he wasn't far from that way in
No.
Texas Tech. I mean, he was really, really good at Texas Tech. And that game that Mahomes and Baker Mayfield had against each other in college, where they combined for like 1,200 yards passing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. No, I wouldn't be. I mean, let's see. I didn't see Dan Marino in person.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going. I was going with in person. Like I actually saw with my own two eyes.
I saw Burrow, Tebow, of course, Cam, Vince Young. I saw those guys in person, but I still can't. It would be very difficult to decide between them. It would be very, very difficult for me to decide between. And let me tell you one other that I'm going to see, because he became a punchline. But let me tell you something. Before all of those guys, or some of those guys, I stood on the sideline and watched Jamarcus Russell play quarterback, and I thought I had seen the next coming of something that we had never seen before. I sat there and I watched a 6'6", 280 pound Jamarcus Russell, and I was like, how is anyone ever going to stop this guy? Ever. That was one I missed on. Usually I can get a pretty good feel. Like, okay, this guy's not going to make it. I knew Vince Young wouldn't make it in the NFL. I knew it. All along, I was like, this is a mistake. But I thought Jamarcus Russell was going to be different. He sure was different, that's for sure. Smokey Mike is up next. He's going to say Jimmy Clausen is the greatest quarterback that he ever saw in college football, in the history of college football. I don't think that's true. What's up, man?
Now, why would I say a Notre Dame quarterback would be the best that I've ever seen?
Well, he played there. Didn't he play at Tennessee too?
No. He wasn't.
Who was the Clausen?
There was Rick Clausen in 2005, but the Iceman, Casey Clausen.
Well, one of them was supposed to win the Heisman or something.
To go against Miami in the Natty back in 2001.
There you go.
But
Casey
no.
Clausen.
I would say Peyton would obviously be off of Tennessee. That would be that one. But Andrew Luck is another one that I saw.
Andrew Luck.
Like, yep, that's a number one pick.
Yeah, that Andrew Luck was something in college too, but he was more one-dimensional, and Burrow could hurt you with his legs, but he wasn't. Burrow was the best pure quarterback that I've seen in college football. Pure quarterback. College guys, that's why like Tebow was a great college quarterback that was never going to make it in the NFL, but was a great college quarterback.
I don't care about Tim Tebow. No, he sucks.
Yeah, it sucks so bad. He beat
But
Tennessee
next week
4 years.
Next week's going to start. It's back again. Back football season's going to be back around. And you know what? 2 out of the last 3. It's going to be 3 out of the last 4. LSU Lynch could keep on talking about LSU, but his coach is going to be fired by the end of the year.
Ooh.
And I mean, that's the way I feel about that. But also, I also wanted to chime in since you decided to talk a little bit about the wrestling weekend this weekend, and just let you know,
weekend.
I am ready to see your boy get lit up.
He's not getting lit up. There's no way they're going to let him get lit up.
Gunther is going to light him up.
Not in Atlanta. There's no way they let that guy get wet. He will pin Gunther with no referee. At some point in time, he will have Gunther pinned with no referee to count him out.
Yep. It may happen like that, but we'll wait and find out. But it's this is what I like to call a Big E special right here. Big meaty men slapping meat. So that's what you're getting tomorrow night.
Yeah. It's going to be. Will you watch the All Chicks show on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll watch Evolution, but I mean, I could catch all that up on Peacock. I've got AEW that I'm going to be specifically watching tomorrow with their WrestleMania known as All In.
Is so funny too with how they go up against each other.
Why would they? Don't they? I thought they were owned by each other now.
No, TNA and WWE are together, but now WWE basically has said anytime that AEW has a PLE, we are running one at the exact same time as they do.
Because they must be concerned with them a little bit then.
Well, that's absolutely it. But that's the reason why they do it is because they don't want AEW to have the spotlight on their own.
Yeah. Well,
and you got to pay. It's pay-per-view. It's not PLE for AEW. You got to pay for watching that. But I've got a way, and Joe's got a way. We know the way.
Well, what about the Jeff Jarrett? Which one was he? Was he TNA? Was he the one who invented that?
He invented TNA.
Okay. And now that's
but
part of
Jarrett
the
does,
WWE.
AEW now. Like, he goes around with the AEW roster.
Oh, he's hanging out with yeah, that's right, because he was in studio last year, Jeff Jarrett, with me. And that's right, he was doing when the AEW show went to Huntsville, Jeff Jarrett came in studio. Were you with me then, Joe, when Jeff came in studio?
No, he came on with me whenever the last time they came in a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, boys, you guys be safe on your trip to Atlanta, and I'll let other people on there. But I just needed to chime in and talk a little smack for football because it's going to be 3 out of 4 this year, Tom, and it's going to be the waves are changing, the tide is dropping.
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 over who? 3 out of 4.
You know who?
Oh, get out of here! There is no way that you're walking into Tuscaloosa with that team and that quarterback and coming out of there with anything less than a 20-point beatdown.
Considering I saw this Bama coach lay an egg against the sub 500 Oklahoma team, I think I'll
Where was that? Was that in Tuscaloosa? No, you're not going into Tuscaloosa and staying within 20 points of Alabama. I'm just going to tell you right now, Alabama gonna whoop up on them Tennessee Vols. When was the last time you won a game in Tuscaloosa? Just because you won a couple of games at home over the last 18 years doesn't mean that you're going to go to Tuscaloosa and win a game. Come on now.
Oh, really? Oh,
no. No chance.
Come on.
No chance.
But, all right, y'all be good.
All right, see you. When was the last time the Vols won in Tuscaloosa, Joe? I mean, I'm not even being funny. When was it?
It's long enough back. I got to look at it.
You go, oh no, yeah. You gotta ask the Google machine that. Lane Kiffin didn't. I remember that. In Saban's first year, his terrible team, his one bad team that he had, the 6-6 team, they beat the snot out of Tennessee. They beat them like 42-17 or something.
It was 2003.
2003. There isn't a kid that will play in that game. Smokey Mike, there isn't a kid that will play in the game that was alive the last time Tennessee went to Tuscaloosa and won a game. Now we get a break. We'll come back. Greg, you stay right there. You're up as soon as we return from this short break on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the favorite to sweep the weekend on the road course in Sonoma, California, minus 150 to win the Xfinity Series race tomorrow, plus 155 to win the Cup race on Sunday. The Braves have dropped 11-14 after falling in 11, 5-4 at the A's yesterday. Granholm's on the mound for Game 1 of the weekend series of the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Holmes 4-8, a 3.44 ERA, plus 101 of the money line. Matthew Liberatore for the Cardinals, 6-6, a 3.70 ERA. Cardinals $1.23 favorite, 8.5 under the total in St. Louis. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm here with our good friend, John Kendall. He's got 23 years of retail mortgage experience in the Tennessee Valley, and he's powered up with the #1 retail mortgage lender in the nation.
That's right, Scott. We have joined with Cross Country Mortgage, and that is true. We're the #1 retail mortgage lender in America. And with that powerhouse team and our experience here locally, we're ready to go.
They've got 120 mortgage, refinance, and home equity solutions to fit every need. If you call on Cross Country Mortgage, it is for the win.
That's right. You can reach me, Scott, at 256-562-3780, or you can go to crosscountrymortgage.com and then search my name.
It's Cross Country Mortgage and John Kendall, a powerhouse team. One more time, John.
That's crosscountrymortgage.com, 256-562-3780. If we can't close your loan, it simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company in MLS, number 3029. I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You can give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford's award-winning service department for the routine checkups to keep your Ford or other brand in working order. But they can also take care of bigger problems as well because they got expert service technicians down there, and they're going to quickly diagnose your problem and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. They also have a great mobile service where they can come out to you. You need to check it all out. You need to make an appointment today. Do it at WoodyAndersonFord.com. That's WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Once again, we're going to continue to talk about scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. A mostly to partly sunny sky on Saturday, mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast once again. Basically a rinse and repeat for Sunday.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. Let's give Greg the last couple of minutes here in the first hour of the show. Greg, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have a similar story to your Jamarcus Russell story.
All right.
Do you remember a guy named Reggie Collier that played at Southern Miss?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So Coach Bryant's last year, Southern Miss went into Tuscaloosa and they ran the old veer, and he never touched the ground. I mean, he would go to the end and, he'd gain 12 yards and run out of bounds. And when he finally gave it to the fullback would get 30. And he looked like he could pass that day. And I thought, this is the greatest quarterback I have ever seen in my life. And then
was that day?
he was that day. And he signed with the first version of the USFL. And to my knowledge, he never played a down in the NFL. But this is how dumb I was. I had a Heisman vote that year. And I voted him second. I just thought he was the greatest quarterback I'd ever seen in my life. And it probably explains why I didn't get very many Heisman votes after that. But I thought he was fantastic. But when you told the Jamarcus Russell story, I thought, I got to tell him my Reggie Collier story.
I thought Jamarcus Russell was from another world. I was like, this guy is a unicorn, and apparently he was.
That's what I thought about Reggie Collier. I thought they'll never stop him anywhere. Yeah. But I was wrong.
That's
All
all
right,
for
Craig.
now.
All right, man. Good job by you.
See ya. Bye.
All right. That's Greg Screws, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Big fan of the show. TV guy in Huntsville. By the way, speaking of Huntsville, Sammy Coates, former Cleveland Browns wide receiver Sammy Coates, is now the head football coach at Columbia down there in Huntsville. Did he play anywhere else football, Sammy Coates? I don't know. Where did he go to college, Sammy Coates? Joe?
I mean, he was.
I don't know if he played. Did he play college?
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. That's right. I thought he was just a Browns receiver. Yeah, that's right.
No.
Auburn. Yeah. He had 204 yards receiving against the Tide in the 2014 Iron Bowl won by Alabama. But anyway, Sammy Coates is now the coach at Columbia. He's got a golf tournament coming up. He's going to try and do what nobody has been able to do at Columbia, which is win a football game. And so now Sammy Coates will take his shot, trying to build that program up, trying to raise a little money. And they got a golf tournament coming up on Friday, August 1st. It'll be at the links at Redstone. And if you want to play, you can sign up to play in that tournament. Just go to their Facebook page or just look it up on their webpage and you can get more information about it. Coming up, the one and only Phil Steele is next on the Thom Abraham Show.
Does it really matter which dealership you plan to buy from? Short answer is yes. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. Taking a little time to find out about the dealership before you buy can have a big payoff. Customer reviews let you know what others think, and that's good. But industry reviews can tell you even more. Woody Anderson Ford is proud to have been selected as Ford's Triple Crown winner, an award that only 1% of the top Ford dealers in the country are able to earn. This is a big deal, and here's why. Ford's Triple Crown is based on superior customer service, sales excellence, and over-the-top service delivery. And again, only 1% of the top Ford dealers in all of America achieve this goal. Woody Anderson Ford is top of the top. So when it's time to pull the trigger on your next car, truck, or SUV, we'd be honored if you'd give us a chance to show you how we earned our Triple Crown status. Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook. Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need,
but small enough to welcome you, where you're never just a number. You're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is SportsCenter.
Good morning. I'm Doug Brown. In the first men's semifinal at Wimbledon, Carlos Alcaraz leads American Taylor Fritz 2-1. They're on serve in the fourth. Live coverage right now on ESPN. Novak Djokovic plays Jannik Sinner in the second semifinal. Baseball Thursday night. The Athletics beat the Braves 5-4. Tyler Soderstrom drives in 4 runs, including the walk-off winner in the 11th. ESPN has learned Pelicans forward Herb Jones will sign a 3-year, $68 million extension with the team. Jones was a second-round pick for New Orleans in 2021. Chargers running back Najee Harris should be ready for the start of the new season after what's being called a superficial eye injury. He got hurt during a fireworks accident at a 4th of July event in Antioch, California.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog! Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my...
Have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. Man, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. Glad you are with us on this Football Friday. Reminder that beginning Monday, full coverage of SEC Media Days will be there all 4 days of SEC Media Days. And, in the past, you'd walk around Radio Row, which is now called Digital something. I don't know. But anyway, it's Radio Row. And on about 80% of the tables, you would see Phil Steele's College Football Annual, and mine would always be dog-eared, and I'd have a bunch of little notes in there and everything else, and Post-it notes so I can get quickly to the page and so on. But over the last few years, more and more people, you can see that it is on their tablets or it is on their computer. And I got to be honest with you, I've gone electronic too. I mean, I remember I'm a page turner, but I have gone electronic because it's easy to get here on the desktop. Plus, you get updated throughout the season as well. The great Phil Steele joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Phil, welcome in. How are you?
I am doing great, Tom, and always a lot better when I'm talking to you. We've been doing this show for quite some time together, haven't we?
We have. We've been doing it for a long time. I mean, at least 15 years, I would say. And I always talk about the fact that I like the feel of the magazine. I mean, I carry it around. It's the only one I carry. There's no need to get any other preview magazines or anything like that. This thing is so packed with information. I don't have to look at stories about the cheerleaders or, who has the best stadium or anything like that. It's just pure football information. But I got to say, man, on a percentage basis, how does the electronic do versus the printed version now?
It's getting more and more each year, but the hard copy still the best seller at Barnes and Noble, and a lot of people still like to have the hard copy in their hands. And the thing, if you order the magazine through philsteele.com, you get the hard copy and then you get the digital copy for free. So you could have the best of both worlds in that respect. Yeah, so it's something where I would still say 75% of the people want the hard copy in their hands, which is surprising in today's day and age, isn't it?
Well, to a certain extent, but I get it, and it's nice to have. There's no doubt. So I didn't know that. I'm going to have to snag the paper copy and the hard copy, and then I get the digital as well. So I think that's the way I'm going to have to go. Phil Steele with us here. All right, Phil. Things that are happening fast. You go to publication on this, but all this recruiting news that bounced the last couple of weeks doesn't affect this season so much, but just your take on what we have seen. An Alabama team that came out of nowhere. They were so far down on the list, and all of a sudden they started signing 1 5-star or getting commitments, I should say, from 1 5-star after another. We've seen this ridiculous class that Texas Tech has put together, somebody that we don't expect that from. Just your take in this brave new world that we see with with all the money that's involved for these players.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And as Texas Tech has proven, maybe it balances out things a little bit. If there's a legitimate salary cap, they can become a big-time contender like that. I personally don't look a lot at the recruiting range. Let me tell you why, Tom. Give you an example. All these players that signed with teams in winter this year, a freshman signing class, the transfers coming in, a ton of them were leaving after spring practice was over before they could even play on the team. And how many times do you see late in the recruiting process, right before they sign, they flip to another team? So I'll wait until they actually sign on the field and playing before I look at recruiting classes. But it is interesting to see what's going on.
Well, one of the guys that is signed, sealed, and delivered and ready to have a big season is Arch Manning. He's also, by the way, one of 11 SEC quarterbacks that will be at SEC Media Days next week. So it's going to be kind of a star-studded deal. And, we want to talk about Arch Manning being, a Heisman Trophy candidate, obviously, and potentially the best quarterback in the entire country. But there's some stiff competition within the SEC with some of these returning quarterbacks as well. I mean, it's not a given that Arch Manning is all it had in a bag of chips, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think to live up to the hype that he's getting right now, he'd probably have to have something like a 69-1 ratio, hit 85% of his passes, and run for 1,000 yards. But I think he will be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. But like example, my first team SEC preseason quarterback, Nussmeier, guy that threw for over 4,000 yards last year, has got a great receiving core to throw to, and he's going to have another big year. But yeah, there's so much talent at the quarterback positions. And even some newcomers going to make a big impact this year. You look at John Mateer coming into Oklahoma, where last year Oklahoma didn't have an offensive line or a receiving core. They've got both this year, and he's coming in with the same offense he had at Washington State. I think he'll have a big year. And even some first-time starters like Ty Simpson at Alabama and Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. I think they have big years this year. So it should be a big-time season for SEC quarterbacks.
Nussmeier will be another one that is in attendance next week in Atlanta. All right, so you mentioned Nussmeier, and of course you mentioned Mateer. So let's talk about those two teams for a minute, because this is one of the first areas where there's a little bit of controversy of what Phil Steele has to say. In the SEC, you have Oklahoma at 4, number 8 in the country, while you have LSU at number 7, middle of the pack basically in the league, at number 11. Explain your feelings about Oklahoma and how they're going to save Brent Venables' gig.
Yeah, and I have Oklahoma, LSU, and Texas A&M all tied for 4th in the SEC. And naturally, when you're playing, when you have 16 teams and you only have 8 games, you're going to have a lot of ties in the schedule. You can have 16 different outcomes. So I do have Oklahoma and LSU tied for 4th in the SEC. However, let's talk about Oklahoma. Now, last year they played arguably the toughest schedule in the SEC, and they actually held opponents to 87 yards per game below their season average, number 6 in the country. So they had a top-notch defense. Their problem was offense. And as I touched on a moment ago, they had 0 returning starters on the offensive line, and their receiving core lost their top 5 receivers at points during the course of the season. So without an offensive line or receiving core, naturally Jackson Arnold struggled last year. Well, this year they've got a veteran offensive line. And I'm going to point out Clemson last year. Clemson 2 years ago had a banged-up receiving core. They struggled on offense. Last year, they got the injured receivers back. They added to those receivers a dynamic receiving core, and all of a sudden, Cade Klubnik was throwing for 4,000 yards. Well, Oklahoma is much the same. They get all those injured receivers back. They've added a bunch of receivers. I think they actually have a potent receiving core now to go along with the solid offensive line, and they've got John Mateer at quarterback. Plus, they had in Jade Knott from Cal to go along with that defense. So their problem last year was offense. They've got the offense. This year, they've got the defense. And remember, last year, they only had 3 true SEC home games. This year, they only have 3 true SEC road games. So the schedule, while still tough, I rated 7th toughest in this country, really is better than it was last year. And going over the roster with Coach Venables, I actually feel Oklahoma's got a playoff caliber roster this year. Now, with LSU, I mean, the sky's the limit for them. They've got a couple of tough games. They got to play Clemson on the road. They got to play Alabama on the road and Oklahoma on the road. But with Garrett Nussmeier, the recruiting class, or the transfer class class they brought in. Plus getting a guy like Harold Perkins back, maybe playing him at a position he's better suited for this year. That's going to help. You look at the receiving core, they're dangerous. How quickly the offensive line and defensive line come along would be my big question mark with LSU. But I have those two teams tied for fourth in the SEC.
Yeah, in order of finish. So maybe, just to clear it up for the listeners, you've got your power rankings, which is different than your order of finish, right? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, the power poll is actually my 9 sets of power ratings molded all together, and that has nothing to do with where I think they're going to finish. It has more to do with the talent on the field. And I've got Oklahoma rated number 8 in the power poll, and I do have LSU number 11 in the power poll this year. So I do have Oklahoma slightly ahead of LSU. But when I do my predictions, my top 40, my top 60, that's based on where I think they're going to finish, and a lot of that has to do with the schedule the teams face.
So in the SEC, you've got the Georgia Bulldogs finishing 1. Even though you have Texas ahead of them in the power poll, the Bulldogs finishing number 1. The Dogs have a little bit tougher schedule, I think, than Texas does, right? Everybody's basically playing the same schedule they did last year. They just have flipped over the home and homes. Texas taking advantage of of really one of the weaker schedules in the SEC, but you got Georgia finishing ahead of them for the SEC title.
Yeah, you had Texas and Oklahoma coming in from the Big 12 last year. Texas played arguably the easiest schedule in the SEC. Oklahoma played the toughest schedule in the SEC, and look what happened with record-wise. Texas went 13-3, and Oklahoma went 6-7. You hit it right on the head. I've got Texas probably the most talented team in the SEC this year. They got Arch Manning. They're loaded at almost every single position, ranks in my top 10 in the front of the magazine. Offensive line's the only question mark. I got them at number 26, but they're even solid on special teams, which I rate number 6. The problem I have with Texas this year, they do have to play Georgia on the road. They also play Oklahoma at a neutral site, Florida in the swamp, Ohio State on the road. The rest of the schedule, very manageable. But that game at Georgia was the key to me picking Georgia number 1. And, when you look at Georgia last year, Georgia had their 3 toughest games last year were Alabama, Mississippi, and Texas. And they had to play all 3 of those on the road, and they lost 2 of them. Yeah. Well, this year, their toughest 3 games are Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. Guess what? All 3 are between the hedges. And they haven't lost a game between the hedges since 2019. So, since 2020, they are undefeated at home. I think they take advantage of that. And as opposed to having 3 brutal road games like they did last year, they get those guys at home. And that's why I've got Georgia favored in all 12 games this year.
Phil Steele with us here talking about his thoughts for the upcoming college football season. And that brings us to Alabama, who was a beast at home last year. I mean, of course, they beat Georgia at home. Almost let Georgia come back and take that game, but they destroyed Missouri. They were very strong at home. Had a hard time on the road, though. Couldn't win the road games, and and that's how they ended up where they ended up. You have them number 2 in the power poll, number 3 though in finish. This has to have to do with the fact that they are going between those hedges that you just spoke about.
Yeah, they have to play Georgia on the road, which I think is big. But this is a very talented Alabama team, and the key is going to be quarterback. Mm-hmm. If Ty Simpson can have a big year, he is surrounded by talent. In fact, I rate the running backs number 7 in the country, the receiving core number 4, the offensive line number 9, the defensive line number 6, linebackers number 10, DBs number 2. They have talent. Rice can have a big year, and I think he will. Then you look at the schedule. They do play Florida State on the road. I think that's a winnable game. Missouri on the road, winnable. South Carolina may be a pretty tough test, as will Auburn. They always do struggle at Jordan-Hare. So it's an Alabama team, though, that I think is better than last year. It's Kalen DeBoer's second season. He's won everywhere he's been. Second season at Washington, he took a team with less talent than this year's Alabama team and took them to the national title game. I think Alabama is a legitimate national title contender as long as Ty Simpson can have a big year at quarterback.
Yeah, it's like, a lot of people want to see the young guys come in there and, what can they do? But the reality is, if they end up with, Keelan Russell in there, so on, that means that Ty Simpson struggled. You just as soon see him play well and keep those other guys, maybe have that Mac Jones kind of year and keep those other guys at bay for a year or so. Phil Steele with us here. All right, Texas A&M, they got off to a quick start last year, took advantage of the schedule, and but you're relatively high on them. You have them in that Monash that you have there, tied for 4th in the finish. Talk to me about A&M. What do you like about those guys?
Yeah, Mike Elko is one thing to really like about Texas A&M. You know, look at the job he did as defense coordinator at A&M a few years back when they had that dominant defense and a great record. Then you take a look what he did at Duke, and now back here at Texas A&M last year. All of a sudden, they're in the mix to play in the SEC title game at the end of the year. If they beat Texas in the season final, they're in the SEC title game. So I thought he did a great job there. You know, it's interesting. Last year when I talked to Coach Elko and we went over the offensive line, he said, Phil, we're probably middle of the road SEC on the offensive line this year. This year when I talked to him, he said, look, we have a top-tier offensive line, a chance to go for the Joe Moore Award. So I think offensive line is going to be a big key here. Plus, they've got Marcel Reed, veteran quarterback that came in and did well when called upon last year, and I think he can have a good year. They've got their backfield with Moss, Owens, and Daniels are loaded there. I like the addition to Casey Concepcion at wide receiver. He was unstoppable at NC State 2 years ago. I think teams were ganging up on him last year. They won't have that opportunity here because there's so much talent at the receiver position, and defensively they're solid. Now A&M, when you look at their schedule, Tom, they do have to play LSU on the road and Texas on the road, plus a non-conference game at Notre Dame. Those are three games they'll be an underdog in, but I could see them favored in all the rest of the games, and who knows, maybe they win one of those big road games. They won in the Swamp last year, so I think A&M is a legitimate contender in the SEC, the rugged SEC.
Yeah, it is rugged. There's no doubt about it. You have, now for our listeners in Tennessee, you have the Vols and Ole Miss tied at 7, so in the middle of the pack in terms of finish of this upcoming season. Where would you have had Tennessee had Nico not chased the dollars, which ended up being less, to California?
Yeah, I would have had them tied for fourth up there with Oklahoma and LSU and A&M. But the Nico thing did have me push them back a little bit. They actually still have a manageable schedule, but they do get Georgia at home. I believe they'll be an underdog in that game. They play Alabama on the road. They'll be an underdog in that game. They play Florida on the road to be an underdog in that game. And I think the key game to their season, Tom, is probably that Oklahoma game, which they get at home. I rate that one a toss-up. Now, if they win the Oklahoma game, then the season they'd have a shot at possibly getting back to the playoff. But there are some losses this year. You know, they lose the school record rushing running back from last year in Dylan Sampson, who had just a fantastic season. They lose their top 3 receivers. They lose 4 starting offensive linemen. They lose their quarterback. And you got to think there's going to be a drop-off from last year offensively. Defensively, they look pretty solid. They remain strong there despite losing a number 1 and number 2 DC. So maybe not as strong as last year's squad, but I think the Nico loss will hurt them. Let's see how Joey Aguiar does. Will it be the Joey Aguiar that we saw 2 years ago at App State, or the one that sort of struggled a little bit last year? If it's the one from 2 years ago, then I think he can come in and do a decent job. And, you know, Nico didn't exactly light it up. He wasn't great all season long. He had a couple of moments last year. So I think Tennessee could be an interesting team to watch.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks that are transfers, Jackson Arnold ends up on the Plains, and big story has been the horrific recruiting for 2026 for Hugh Freeze and his team. But that doesn't mean that they can be somewhat competitive this year. It's all about Jackson Arnold, though, I guess, and whether or not he can get the job done. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on this Auburn team.
You know, my most improved list, Tom, is it's got about 85% accuracy, where I take teams that had losing records and say they're going to make a bowl game this year. That's how you make my most improved list. And last year I put Auburn on that list. And if you look at the numbers, they went from minus 45 yards per game in SEC play, outgained by 45 yards per game, to outgaining opponents by 62 yards per game last year in SEC play. That's drastic improvement. It didn't happen record-wise because of all those turnovers they had. And I know Jackson Arnold did not have a great season at Oklahoma, no doubt about that. But remember what I said. Didn't have an offensive line, down his top 5 receivers. It'd be tough for any quarterback to have a big year. I like the supporting cast he's got here. He's got, with Auburn, he's got my number 6 set of receivers in the country. He's also operating behind my number 12 rated offensive line. So I think you'll see a much better Jackson Arnold version at Auburn than the one you saw at Oklahoma. The difference is the surrounding talent that he's got on hand on the field. Defensively, they look pretty strong. I like Keldrick Falk up up front on the defensive end spot. Kalen Lee at the cornerback spot. Both guys are NFL caliber. It should be improved. The schedule, not easy, but as they saw last year, I mean, this is a team that could easily have beaten Oklahoma. They gave up the late score there, the interception return for a touchdown late. Could easily have beaten Missouri on the road. Played tough early on against Bama. They do have to play Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M on the road, Georgia at home, Alabama at home. Those are all games to be a dog in. But and Baylor in the opener is going to be a tough one. But this is an Auburn team that I think gets back to a bowl game this year. They have to for Hugh Freeze, and should be. I think they're a top 20 offense, top 20 defense. To be honest with you, Tom.
Phil Steele with us here, an encyclopedic recollection of all of these teams. All right, finally, for our listeners in Nashville, Vanderbilt. You got them all the way down there at 14. That's kind of where they live typically in the SEC, but they did some serious damage last year. Diego Pavia will be at SEC Media Days next week. He'll be one of the real popular guys, a cocky kid who backs it up with his play. Can Vandy surprise? They're going to sneak up on anybody now, but can they surprise next year and work their way towards the middle of the pack?
I think they can, as long as Pavia stays healthy. I mean, they are number one on my experience chart this year. So it's a veteran squad coming back, talking to Coach Lee and going over the team with them. He's bullish. He's confident for where they're going to be. Feels that they can contend with any team on the schedule, and they proved that last year, knocking off teams like Alabama and Auburn and Virginia Tech and Kentucky, all games that were an underdog in. Now, I thought the key last year with Vanderbilt was Pavia got banged up, and they didn't run as much as the later part of the portion of the season, and that's when they suffered some losses against South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee. If they can keep Pavia healthy, they should have an improved run game. I like Eli Stowers at tight end. I think he's one of the better tight ends in the country. And defensively, they've got talent. Going over the roster with Coach Lee, I like the talent they have on the defensive side of the ball. So an experienced team, they're gaining confidence weekly. I mean, now they believe they're going to win when they step on the field as opposed to hoping for it. Like you said, Tom, though, I picked them 14th. I can't get over the whole Vanderbilt thing and playing in the SEC, but I do believe they'll pull a couple of surprises this year for sure.
So you buy the magazine look, you can go to Barnes & Noble and get it, and that's great. But if you buy the magazine at the website, philsteele.com, you can get the magazine, and you also get the digital version to back that up, which is key. And, if you're like a little action on the games, I'm just saying, it's not like Phil's running around being a handicapper, but this is the thing you need to be referencing all season long, because as a college football betting guide, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's not sold that way, but this has all the information you need to go back multiple years, and it's tremendous. And that's why the digital is great too, because it's updated on a regular basis. Phil, it's always great to catch up with you, man. You do a tremendous job, and I appreciate it. And let's hook up once during the season as well.
That sounds great, Tom. I always enjoy our conversations, my friend. It's a lot of fun, as always, and I look forward to talking to you numerous times this season.
All right, there you go, Phil Steele. All right, Phil, appreciate you.
All right, Tom. Appreciate it, and keep me updated. How many folks got the media guide there with them at the SEC Media Days?
I will. I'm going to go around and do a little inventory. There'll be 40 radio stations there. So at the College Football Hall of Fame. So I'm going to go around and I will send you a text to tell you how many folks had either the digital or the printed version of the magazine.
I appreciate that greatly, Tom.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's
good talking to you again.
That's Phil Steele. Always great. Does a tremendous job. And there's nobody, I mean, you throw anything at him and he just rattles off, all of these guys and does a tremendous job with it. All right, we're going to get a break in here. We are open lines the rest of the way on a Football Friday. So get ready to bang out those phone calls. I'm Thom Abraham. Back with more right after this.
Tom Luganville here from my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, Check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Your Home Window, because you know when it comes to replacement windows or exterior doors or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, and Hartselle. And right now they've got the 4th of July sale going on. Now it's already going on through the end of July. You get 40% off on all windows and 45% off on all doors. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show. Football Friday. Phone lines are open. If you want to jump on board, you can do it 256-576-4977. Your text window is 7329TA show. That's 732-982-7469. Those both work. And, just going back to the question that LSU Lynch threw out there at the end of the first hour of the show, he was asking about, who's the best college quarterback that you've ever seen. I tried to name off ones, in my era, since I've been alive. Actually, I went probably a little later than that. I didn't name anybody from the 60s or the 70s. I started in the 80s with Dan Marino, and then really went to a more recent era. So, everybody has their favorites. There's no doubt about it. But a couple of guys also got mentioned on the next window. Steve McNair at Elkhorn State. All right. I didn't see a lot of Steve McNair at Elkhorn State. When the Oilers drafted Steve McNair, I was like, who's Steve McNair? You know what I mean? At that point in time, you kind of had to go and look at film for it. It's not like we got a lot of Elkhorn State games. You had to go looking for that to see who was this guy. And then you'd see it and you say, oh, okay, that's special. That was from Dustin in Madison. He said that I saw him play at Samford, and he was the best college football player he ever seen. And again, it's not just who you saw live. It's the question is, I guess it sounds that when you say who's the best college football quarterback you ever saw. So then you're thinking saw live. And when I say who's the best quarterback you ever saw, I would include, watching him on TV. But Steve Moulton brought up a good one. How about Mike Vick? I mean, Mike Vick, that guy was a freak in college. And when he got to the NFL, I mean, that was something different. Mike Vick threw one of the prettiest balls in the history of the NFL. He really did. I mean, can you ever remember a Mike Vick pass that wobbled? That was because a lot of quarterbacks, they throw very accurate balls and whatnot, but they're not always a tight, perfect spiral. Mike Vick, who just kind of flicked the ball with his wrist. I mean, he threw some of the best out patterns. I mean, he threw a 20-yard out on a rope and then let down and took off. The best running quarterback ever in the NFL. I'm going to put him over Cam Newton. If Mike Vick isn't out there killing dogs, he's a Hall of Famer now. If he didn't decide to, get involved in the whole dogfighting ring thing, well, it was part of the culture from where he's from in Virginia. Yeah. Okay. Don't be killing dogs. But if he doesn't do that, I mean, stop me if I'm lying, Joe. I think Mike Vick was on a Hall of Fame path. If that dude can stay and he was the first guy to walk into Lambeau Field and win a playoff game. The Packers had never been beaten at Lambeau Field until Mike Vick did it, and then whatever year that was in the 90s.
It was 2005 when he did that.
Or 2005, yeah.
It was 2005. I just remember because I got in a car accident right after the game, leaving the game. That's the reason why I remember.
Leaving a game or leaving someplace where you were watching?
I was watching the game at Baumhower's, as a matter of fact, and I left there and I took the girl I was dating home, and I got in a car accident right after that. So it was 2005. I could even say the Atlanta Falcons have a Super Bowl if he doesn't do what he was doing. He was just that was that dominant, and that's the reason why he was one win away from beating the Eagles to go to take on the New England Patriots for the Super Bowl.
He just threw such a pretty ball. That was the thing about him. He just threw a beautiful pass, and then when he ran, there was nothing like it. And the image that is stuck in everybody's head is that run against the Minnesota Vikings when he's like weaving his way down the field, and then he puts that burst on. He like hits the X button. What is it? The XY button on the machine. What do you do? What do you press button. When you want to
circle?
Have a little extra circle button?
Oh, well, R2 if you're going speeding up, but he also added a circle button because he did a spin move. He did a juke. He put it down. No,
this was the rocket in the button, whatever the button is that gives you like a little rocket, in the butt, and he shot forward, and those two guys, they collided. They thought they were going to tackle him, and two Vikings came together and they collide, and he just pops out of the other end of that thing like a seed coming out of a grape. I mean, it was he was something. So there's that's out there as well. So if you want to react to that, certainly you can react to that as well. All right, a couple other things. Big 12 Media Days wrapping up. A lot of talk there about what went on with Texas Tech and the kind of money that Texas Tech has thrown around. Of course, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, was the star of Big 12 Media Days. But what he said, Sanders said this, he said, quote, "There's a lot of bull junk going on." I mean, I've heard a lot of different terms, where you put the two words together like that, and I hear, things that they say that are have to do with bull and horses and their droppings and their that kind of stuff, manure and whatever you want to call it, poopy. We talked about poop yesterday. We talked about poop. Like I have to spell the word out in front of my dog because she'll drop tail and just start pooping right there. But I don't think I've ever heard bull junk. Joe, that's a new one for me, bull junk. Have you ever heard of bull junk? I don't know what bull junk is.
No, because when I hear bull junk, I think of Rocky Mountain oysters. So that's not what I would be saying.
Actual bull junk.
Yeah, bull junk.
What you're saying.
Yeah, bull junk.
Yeah. And now he's coaching at Colorado, so maybe that's what he was talking about. Rocky Mountain oysters. That's where bull junk comes from. Anyway, he said there's a lot of bull junk going on. He was criticizing the state of the sport, and he said, quite frankly, we're sick of it. I mean, nobody's saying it. I'll say it for everybody. Prime says, I wish there was a cap, a hard salary cap like in the NFL. Like the top of the line player makes this, and if you're not that type of guy, you're not going to make that. That's what the NFL does. So the problem is you got a guy that's not that darn good, or in Coach Prime's parlance, he said "dern." He always says "dern." It's D-U-R-N with him. Dern. He says you got a guy that's not that darn good, but he could go to another school and they'll give him $500,000. You can't compete with that, and it don't make sense. Now, the story goes on to say, of course, the $20.5 million and 75%, roughly $15.38 million going to the football programs. But there is no rule against a school giving 100% of its revenue sharing money to the football players. And more importantly, there's no cap on NIL money that a player can make from the public market, free market. I mean, that's the thing. It's free market. The question is going to be, is it pay for play? But there's no money. There's no cap on what kind of NIL money you can make. So in Texas Tech's case, they got a couple of big-time benefactors, big-time oil money that's pouring huge money into that program. Now, this newly formed College Sports Commission is going to try and curb the pay-for-play deals that aren't considered market value. In other words, for a player to go to a car dealership and sign autographs for 2 hours is not worth $50,000. That would be an example. Okay? I'm just giving you an example. That's an example of something that is not market value. I don't know. Joe, in our business, we do remote broadcasts and so on, and you get paid to do a remote. You've done enough remotes. You know what the going rate is. You get paid to read a live read. You hear me do these live reads. This segment of the show is brought to you by, and so we know what those are worth. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if I say this show is brought to you by, I'm not charging $5,000 a read for that. You know what I mean?
Would you if you had a Heisman Trophy in your case, MVP trophy in your case?
Yeah. Or was a great high school player, because many of these guys are getting that kind of cake and they haven't done anything yet.
Couple rings that you're shaking his hand while you're wearing a couple of those rings. Like I'm just throwing things out.
That would be $50,000 then for the live read, But I mean, there is a point in time where, okay, this is a little silly. This doesn't mean. Now here's what happened this year. And this is all very confusing, but I'm trying to educate as many people as possible. And myself as well. So the revenue sharing era, right? This began July 1st. And going forward, after July 1st, NIL deals have to be scrutinized and they have to be made to pass muster. They got to be legit. All right. I'm going to do a calendar and you're going to pay me $10,000 to do the calendar or whatever it might be. Or you're going to pay me a percentage of that type of deal. It can't be some funny baloney money. Because remember, you're talking about players getting millions. Millions. There's one player they're talking about right now that hasn't played it down yet that supposedly is getting $5.5 million a year. What's he doing for the $5.5 million a year? Can't be playing football, because if you're playing football, you can't pay for play. So what kind of an endorsement deal does he have that he's getting $5 million a year? So what happened was right before the implementation of this new world in NIL, all of these NIL deals came down the pike and were front loaded. They put all the money up front and they said, here, kid, take this $5 million for the next couple of years. Because after this, we got to answer to why we gave you $5 million. Now, just to make this graphically clear, okay, this was the collective spending, the year-over-year growth in NIL collective spending year-over-year from last year to this year. By one, okay? So April, the increase was 182%. Going back to February, the increase from last February to this February was 52%. In May, the increase was 119%. And in June, pretty much the last week of June, there was 824% more money spent in NIL money than there was last June. So the amount of money that was spent last June to the amount of money that was spent this June was 824% higher. Now, come on. What's going on, right? I mean, are we stupid? These collectives and these boosters, they rolled out huge front-loaded NIL money. It's going to straighten up going forward. It'll come down to earth going forward. But it was a huge amount of money that was thrown at these schools. Now there's the $20.5 million. That is the money from the school. That's the revenue sharing. That's what the schools can pay players. But the money that was ponied up, I mean, it just absolutely incredible amount of money in NIL that was ponied up in the last, week of June. Now, the expectation is that NIL money from collectives is going to drop. It was $1.3 billion this year. $1.3 billion with a B because of June. Next year, it's going to be $227 million. And then by the 28-29 season, 2028-2029 season, it'll be down to $77 million. $77 million. But it's going to be a $1 billion drop in a single year next year. But it will be offset by the new influx of money that's coming from the schools and going directly to the players. And not everybody's doing the 75% thing. I mean, the average right now for the Power 4 schools, the average is that 65.6% of the money will go to football. Basketball will get 20.3%. In the group of 6, the AAC, Conference USA, MAC, Mountain West, Pac-12, Sunbelt, $4.3 million is the amount of money to go to players. $4.3 million. So it's a different number altogether. So it's just some of the math that is behind it, and I know how it is for me. It just your eyes gloss over. You talk about this kind of stuff, and your eyes just gloss over. Now, Dion talked about schools and agents doing stuff under the table, and he said, "I wish it was truly equality." So a hard salary cap would do that. Now, Mike Gundy, who's a man, he's 40. I think he's like 55 now. He's a man. He's 40. Mike Gundy said that he wants a system that is like the NFL rookie wage scale, which limits contracts for first-year players. Remember, we went through that whole period in the NFL where rookies were, every rookie class was getting more and more expensive, and those guys were signing. Sam Bradford would sign $70 million contract, and they were all making more than the guys that have been in the league for a number of years that have actually proven something. Well, that's the kind of system that Gundy wants. He thinks that it should be limited as to what you give a first-year player. He said, we really need to get some guardrails to eliminate the things that are going on from the tampering standpoint and players that are coming out of high school that are getting way too much money before they've ever made a play on a game day. He said, that's how I feel about it. I'm okay with paying the players that are producing, and that's the NFL model that I believe some of what we pattern ourselves out of needs to be in place. That's what he's saying. 5-star tackle Felix Ojo, the kid that signed with Texas Tech, he's in high school right now. He's a 2026 5-star offensive tackle by the name of Felix Ojo. Supposedly signed a 3-year, $5.1 million revenue sharing contract. That's not NIL. That's from the school. 3 years, 5.1. Kid hasn't even ever played. Never even played. And who is likely to be a bigger bust? A kid coming out of high school going to college, or a kid coming out of college going to the NFL? Look at the bust rate in the NFL. It's almost 50-50. I would argue that the bust rate coming out of college or out of high school to college is even more. Even more. All right, we'll get a break. Come back. You want to react to that? You can do that. 256-576-4977. That'll get you into the show. The Athletic wrote an article predicting how the teams in the AFC South will go. What did they say about the Titans? We'll share that with you. And a couple of notes off of the football topic, since we're all football next week. Just a couple of quick notes off of the football topic that I want to just throw in there. We'll do that next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the favorite to sweep the weekend on the road course in Sonoma, California, minus 150 to win the Xfinity Series race tomorrow, plus 155 to win the Cup race on Sunday. The Braves have dropped 11 of 14 after falling in 11, 5-4 at the A's yesterday. Granholm's on the mound for Game 1 of the weekend series of the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Holmes 4-8, a 3.44 ERA, plus 101 of the money line. Matthew Liberatore for the Cardinals, 6-6, a 3.70 ERA. Cardinals $1.23 favorite, 8.5 under the total in St. Louis. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family for just $12.99. Or maybe you need a fridge out by the pool or in the garage to keep those drinks cold. You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $349 while supplies last. Go to owenappliance.com to learn more.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Once again, we're going to continue to talk about scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. A mostly to partly sunny sky on Saturday, mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast once again. Basically a rinse and repeat for Sunday.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Yeah, welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Well, that's kind of cool, Joe. Now I got the echo. I'm getting the return in my ear. So whatever you got a button, you got to push it.
How about that?
Make that stop there. There you go. That's perfect. Now you got it figured out. We took a lightning strike right during the break. How fortunate was that?
Yeah, it's fortunate for everybody except for the person that does my laundry at the house.
Yeah? Why, is it hanging on the line?
No, it means it's dirty now. P-O-P-O-O-P, right? Yeah, for everybody that saw that video of Norfolk Tide versus the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, and they're like, it's a lightning strike. Hey, fell off the mound because it scared him. Yeah. Trust me, you should ask some people that are in the studio right now about what I did.
Yeah. And you're inside. Can you imagine being outside and hearing that thing?
Absolutely.
You like that? I mean, goodness gracious almighty. All right. A couple of notes here. I just want to get rid of you. Those of you that have been hearing the update about what's going on between Carlos Alcaraz and Taylor Fritz. That's way over. That ended hours and hours ago. I'm not a big tennis guy. I mean, I used to love playing tennis, and I was a big tennis fan back in the day when Americans were a thing. But goodness gracious almighty, Taylor Fritz, an American, he was beaten by this Carlos Alcaraz, who was part of that big Sinner-Alcaraz deal at the French Open, that 5.5-hour epic that they had there. They were beaten at Wimbledon in the semi this morning, which prevented him from being the first American man to make the Wimbledon singles final make the final since Andy Roddick in 2009, 16 years ago. The last American man to win any Grand Slam in tennis was Roddick in 2003, 22 years ago. Pete Sampras was the last American to win at Wimbledon, and it was 25 years ago. I mean, this is insane. Joe, you were like 15 years old. So you're too young to remember. I mean, how bad that we have gotten at that. This is why tennis is so down in the States in terms of viewership. And so we used to dominate. Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras. I mean, it was always an American that was dominating or that was right there.
No, I remember the last one. The last one you spoke of in 2009, if I remember it correctly. I think it was 2009.
Andy Roddick.
It's Andy Roddick. I actually remember waking up because I was on vacation in Chicago in 2009, and I remember waking up early just so that I could watch that before going out and doing the daily, tourist stuff on that. And that was the last time I might have even cared about tennis.
Yeah. I mean, this is why we have this, malaise about it. We were into the women's game for years because of the Williams sisters. Serena and Venus Williams were dominating. Now, I don't know if they've already played. There's an American woman that's like in the semifinals, but American men, I mean, we're terrible at this. God forbid this ever happens in golf. And speaking of golf, Live Golf has once again applied to the official golf world rankings for points. They want points issued for their tournaments similar to the PGA Tour and the European Tour. And the points, because world golf ranking points is how you get into the majors. Unless you have an exemption because you won, that's how you get into the majors. So they've applied, and I'm going to state again, no freaking way. You're playing a 54-hole tournament with no cut and guaranteed money. How do you compare that to a 72-hole tournament with a cut and no guaranteed money unless you make the cut? You can't give those guys that. It's completely different golf. Can't give them points for that. That's like saying they want to put the arena team, they'll put the Albany Fire, whatever they are, into the NFL because they won the arena championship. It's a different game. All right. We'll be in Atlanta Monday. We'll be covered up SEC, media days, all next week. Right here on the Thom Abraham Show.